Welcome to the Dream Life is Real Life podcast. I'm your host, Hannah Hermanson. I know it might seem cheesy or cliche, but if you've got a sleeping giant inside of you, or you just feel like you're made for more, then there's no coincidence you landed here on the Dream Life is Real Life podcast. Listen, as a girl from small town Wisconsin who decided to go all in to her dream life vision, I know how crazy it can feel to chase after wild ideas. Since leaving my 9-to-5 job in academics back in 2015 to becoming a yoga teacher, a life coach, and now a digital nomad, currently living in Merida, Mexico with my husband and Labradoodle, I know that all the cheesy cliches are true. I've watched a lot of my dream life become my real life right in front of my eyes. Oh, and I've learned a whole lot about sales, business, and marketing along the way, and I want to share all of that with you. So here, you can consider me your friend and mentor. As a certified business coach, success trainer, international speaker, author, and copywriter, I've helped hundreds of coaches and entrepreneurs build, scale, and enjoy their online businesses. So here on the show, you'll find the real people, concrete tactics, and weekly motivation and inspiration to make your dream life your real life. I'm going to let you into the nooks and crannies of these dream lives and dream businesses and offer lots of real talk along the way. Because to be a true leader in whatever you're endeavoring in your life and to create a legacy that you're proud of, you need a tribe lifting you up with you on the journey. And I've made it my mission to be that partner with you. Because after all, we are all in this together. By the way, if you'd like some help improving your business and life, then we just might be able to help. Head on over to dreamlifeisreallife.com to learn more about what we do and how I might be able to personally support you and just continue this conversation in making your dream life your real life. All right, let's get to it. Welcome. Today we have a very special guest with us today. We're chatting with Melissa R. Williams. Melissa is a CEO, entrepreneurial coach, and motivational speaker based in Dallas, Texas. She has a colorful story, and we'll get into a lot of that. But a pivotal moment in her life was in 2001 when she discovered her calling as a motivational speaker. Ever since embarking on her speaking career, she's been speaking all over the place. She's no stranger to the limelight. She's spoken at prestigious events such as the Phenomenal I Am Women's Conference, Educated Girls Rock, Salvation Army, I Am Her International Ministries, among many others. Melissa is also the founder and CEO of Recherche Enterprises, which is currently a multi-million-dollar conglomerate of 4 flourishing corporations. Due to the fact that she's been a huge success story in her industry, Melissa has become an entrepreneurial coach and strategist to assist others in realizing their dreams. And so we're so excited that you are here because you haven't just helped, many others realize their dreams, but you're also a mother of 6 beautiful children who keep you inspired every day. So welcome, Melissa. I'm excited to get to know you more today.
Thank you so much for having me. Likewise, I'm excited to be with you.
Yes, when I, saw all the things that you seem to be managing, I thought that we would have a really productive conversation and how we can have it all. So many people I talk to, especially a few years into their business, start to wonder, when am I going to have time for family? Or what about a relationship? Or when have I taken me time or a vacation, without work. And I think as entrepreneurs, that's a really important conversation. So before we get into kind of the hows and what it looks like now, kind of on top of your game here, would you be open to telling us a little bit about your journey to that, aha moment 20 years ago where motivational speaking came into your world? What was life like before that for you?
The funny thing is, motivational speaking was never an aspiration for me. It kind of was something that, I was just living life in survival mode. And so many people would, invite me, oh, would you come and talk to my women's group? Or would you come here and speak about this, that, or whatever that you've gone through? Or so many times oh, you should write a book or, and I'm just like, it was odd to me because I felt like I was just doing what every other woman or mother or wife does. And so I was kind of like, what is the big deal? And so as I began to speak more and talk to other women and in other communities, then I began to realize, okay, I guess I am kind of an oddball and I'm doing some things that not all other women are doing, or that they feel courageous or bold enough to do, and so that's kind of how the speaking came into play. But like I said, early on, growing up in Chicago, I lost my father at a very young age. So I was with a single parent, and just watching her maneuver and her strength and her pursue entrepreneurship and defy odds and overcome things and fight for her right as a woman and as a mother to have more and to be taken seriously in a different light. Because it's no secret, definitely many years ago, but even today, which is really sad, we as women, we aren't given permission by society to have more. It's kind of like your wife and your mother, you should be content. What else do you want out of life?
Yeah.
Please go fix dinner. Please go take care of the kids and sit down. And so watching my mom, kind of fight those stereotypes about what women can do and should do really was the catalyst, I think, in me to encourage that ongoing fight in myself to, once I became a wife and a mother, because I had seen it done, my mother juggling entrepreneurship and motherhood and so she's my hero.
Oh, so, I love that. Yeah. And I think, there's a conversation of just what we accept as normal or right. Like you growing up in that environment and just seeing like, oh, like we make stuff happen. This is how it goes. We keep moving forward. We work hard. We take care of our people. And for that to just be like so natural to you that one day it's like, not everyone's doing this. Not everyone is just like out there sharing their truth, doing their thing. I can relate a little bit. Just, I know you also in high school, just like growing up and just doing the right thing and like being great at school and like figuring it out and doing our best, maybe being an overachiever in some places, it then like totally shows up in the rest of your life. And so I think it's really powerful for you to help us see, what in our lives are we just operating with and thinking everyone else is doing that they might not be, because that could be kind of that like leverage of genius, right? Like it's natural and easy to you, but you can help a lot of people who it might not be natural to. Have you found that on your journey and kind of leaning into this more leadership and public speaking roles?
Oh, definitely. It's even prompted in the last year, I put in my bid for city council in Dallas and leading in other ways as well, because I saw the need for, more women to step forward and say and show in their lives that it's okay to, pursue more and, just being that tool of inspiration and that key, to show other women it's possible. You can do it. And I'm here to show, that it's true. It's real.
Yeah. So I'm like dying to get to the heart of it here, because you've got multiple corporations, you're showing up for lots of people like out in the world and your family. How do you do it? I mean, I have a husband and a dog, and some days I'm like, can you guys just like pick up your own poop and like feed yourselves? Like, I don't want to do it more for, like I definitely am working on my like capacity to give. Right. And so I'd love to hear maybe, where you're at and any best practices you have when it comes to expanding our capacity to give and show up so much for others.
Well, I guess I kind of cheat a little bit in that, I don't have small children. My youngest is 7. So it's not like I'm changing diapers and fixing bottles and, baby, my 7-year-old, she's a little lady. She's very independent. So I probably don't have it as difficult as, many women, like I said, who might have an infant or a toddler running around. But, and then my children, they're very busy as well. They have their own lives and like I said, even my 7-year-old, my youngest, she's a gymnast, she's a dancer, so she's at competitions and doing, practices and has a very full life. So she doesn't demand as much as my attention as, like I said, a smaller child would. But the key really is self-care.
Yeah.
It's like the more you pour into yourself and give yourself, then the more you have to give others. And so I'm just a big proponent of women, which is something else that is difficult for wives and mothers, is to believe and not feel guilty for taking time for themselves and doing things that they need to do, doing things that they love to do, and just taking care of themselves first. But it really is the key. Like, like I said, the more you have for yourself, the more you have to share and give. And so once we remove that guilt of putting ourselves first, then we have a greater capacity to do for others.
Yeah. All right. I was hoping, I'm always, maybe there's some big sexy secret that, people at the multi-million-dollar level have, but it does. And this is true in health and relationships and lots of conversations we have on this show, is that it's the stuff you already know, right? Simple things that you can be doing to fill up your cup, do self-care, take deep breaths, move your body every now and then, that, I think we get wrapped up in wanting it to be this like, oh, secret sauce, sexy plan that she has that I have to go get. So I really appreciate you just being honest and grounded in that, because we keep hearing it everywhere because it's true. Yeah. Self-care is the key, right?
And, that's the funny thing about life in general, is that we overcomplicate things. It's really, like you said, there's no big sexy secret with anything. It's really all about you. We are our own worst enemies. We prevent ourselves with our thoughts, our behaviors, denying ourselves things that we need. We're the reason why we don't have what we want. And so we're always looking externally for, like you said, this big secret. What do they do? And it's really so simple. It's so simple.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to shift gears a little bit to talk about speaking. I know this is something that, especially pre-COVID, was on many listeners' minds. I want to be in the room with my people. I want to speak to many. I want to have that opportunity to share what I know. And it's starting to come back with some retreats happening and people really craving that person-to-person connection. And so someone who's been just about everywhere over the last couple of decades when it comes to, speaking and really getting in the room with folks, where would you encourage someone to start if they also want to be a motivational speaker?
I definitely would look once again, look at yourself and take an analysis of what you've overcome, what you've been through, what you have to offer, how you can help people. And then start with organizations in that area. Like for me, I started with, like I said, women's organizations. I did a lot with homeless shelters, domestic violence shelters, and just volunteering your services. And once you put yourself out there, on a voluntary basis, then you have the experience, you can hone the skill set, and then you can begin to, segue into paid and, higher, larger bookings.
Yep. People hear me talk about hitting the sidewalk here a lot. And that was exactly my experience too. One of the things I started talking more about was overcoming an eating disorder. And I started talking at yoga places about that. And then it was at a yoga class and retreat that the next thing opened up, because I again think with public speaking that there's this grandiose idea that I have to write a book or have this amazing YouTube channel. And then people will start to think I'm such a big deal. I don't know. We think of all these shiny objects when really it's who do you know? Hit the sidewalk, start a conversation, because people are what make things happen. And I think that's a testament to what you're sharing and how you got started. It was found the people in my community that I could help, and I showed up, and look at how it's expanded for you.
Definitely. And I think most people don't realize that we all have an audience. Most people are kind of like, who would want to hear me talk? But we've all been through something. We all have a story to share. We all have a platform. And it's just, like I said, a matter of self-analysis and just, honesty with yourself about who you are and what you have to offer, and making peace with that so that you can feel comfortable sharing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And what do you say to, those women specifically who are thinking, what do I have to say? What would I, what advice would you give to them if they are hesitant to start?
I mean, that's exactly what I tell them, is that we all have a story. We all have a platform. We all have something to share. And at the end of the day, we're all one. So what you see in me exists in you. So if you believe, oh, she's a powerful woman. Oh, she has a great story to share. The same is true for you. So it's just a matter of
you got it. You spot it. You got it.
Yep, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that idea that we're all in this together. I think this is something I'm sensing in my peers that are entrepreneurs more. And I don't know if it's pandemic or 2020, whatever reason why, but I feel like there's this shift in people that I'm around who are really starting to think less about solopreneurship. What's my thing? How am I going to do this? And they're really starting to become more collaborative. So for me, this has meant not just coaching only my people, but starting to coach in other people's programs and, do some swaps and some group, to just bring new perspectives in. And I'm assuming, having a conglomerate corporation, this is something that you've been aware of, the power of collaboration and bringing many people into a mission for a while. And I'm curious if you're sensing any shift when it comes to the ways that we work, being a leader of many. What are you kind of noticing in this 2021 season of how we can all be in this together and move forward?
Well, that's a good one. Good question. We're living in some really weird times and really difficult times. So that's definitely a tough question, because we have so many, little ongoing debates and things that are going on now around everything from, COVID and vaccinations or not vaccinations to homeschool or to send your kids back to public school. Just so many things are kind of going on now that we've never had to deal with before as a community. And so I think the key is just to maintain an open mind and to just recognize that we're going through a shift and a change in time, and that it's uncomfortable for everybody, and that we just need to be kind to each other and understand that everybody has different experiences, different backgrounds, so they're not handling things the same. And we just need to, like I said, be kind and be open-minded to each other and what, our peers and our neighbors may be experiencing or going through.
Being kind, again, with the simple golden nuggets that you have here. And I think that's such a great reminder. I saw something online last week about how, 18 months, your subconscious has been operating in crisis mode, whether you feel that or not. The news that we are consuming, the masks that we are wearing, just the constant unknowing, of so many things up in the air. Like you said, if you're homeschooling or if you're going to go to that event or not, so much has been weighing on us for 18 months. And now we're kind of baby stepping back into things. And small businesses especially are doing their best, okay? But we've had more people quit retail jobs this summer than any time that we've seen in the economy, this kind of mass exodus of retail jobs. So that means the people checking you out at Target might not know exactly what they're doing this week. And I know you're stressed out too, but this being kind thing, because we're all kind of operating in this new space. and specifically small business owners. I think about yoga studios and wedding photographers who didn't work for X amount of time, whatever reality they lived in, trying to get by. And now wedding photographers are doing twice as many weddings this summer. So giving people grace as I just kind of feel like there's kind of this fumble-footedness when it comes to especially service-based businesses. And if we can just all be kind to each other and remember we're all in this together, it's going to make the checkout line and the customer service a whole lot easier. Right? Yeah.
It's really sad because, I've been several places where the people have felt the need to apologize. They're like, I'm sorry, we're short-staffed. I'm sorry, and I'm just like, there's totally no reason to apologize to me. But it's just sad that we live in a world where people are so intolerant of, each other that we don't even, people feel like they have to apologize for things that they have no control over, and that, they are apologizing over their own struggles. And it's like, we should feel like we all have a safe space to just be human and just, experience, things. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I see you being that, right? Not waiting for someone else to come and say, oh, here's the initiative, or, oh, here's what here's the big announcement, right? But I just get this sense from you that this is how you show up. This is how you are, right? Whether it's with me on this conversation or the person checking you out or your team, I think that's true integrity. And as entrepreneurs, we get to play life that way. We get to be fully in integrity and be our authentic selves across boards. So I love that, giving people grace, being kind, and seeing yourself in other people.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
That's how we change the world.
It's definitely me. I do show up in that way, and I encourage other people to. That's one of probably my life mottos. I always tell people, stand in your power, own your story, don't make apologies for being who you are and going through what you're going through. We're all human, we're all entitled, and, it's okay.
So great. Yeah. I feel like this is exactly the message that someone needs to hear today. So sending you an air hug. I hope you are feeling the encouragement and remembering, stand in your power. You've got it. Well, Melissa, this is amazing. I'm sure people would love to continue the conversation with you. So where can they go to learn more about what you do and stay connected?
Sure. You can visit my website, which is melissarwilliams.com. And then also I'm on all social media platforms. For the most part, I'm the speaker teacher on most of them, Instagram, Facebook. I think I'm speaker teacher 1 on Twitter. But like I said, usually if you do the speaker teacher, you'll find me on all social media platforms.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I know, like I said, so many people have that speaker vision on their heart. And from what I'm gathering from you, learning how to do your speaking work, it's not just when you're up on stage, right? But I would imagine it's how you show up in your whole life. Is that part of what you teach?
Definitely.
I'm feeling that. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Melissa R. Williams. We'll make sure that folks can stay connected with you here in the show notes. And listeners, I will be back next week with another inspiring guest that will help you make your dream life your real life. And don't forget to hop on over to dreamlifeisreallife.com/show for specific goodies that we talked about today and access to continue the conversation with these guests as well as myself. I cannot wait to see what you create. Until next time.